All right, you all. I am going live again today. We have to cover a lot of information, so I might go over the hour and a half time because there's been so much that has happened. So I like to say Happy New Year to you all. Hey, this new year it has started already with some great developments. I think they're great developments anyway, because one, the title of this live today is Trump, OG Trump, OG Trump, political gang banging for real, taking down the Democrats, the rogue Democrats with the waste, fraud, and abuse in the government on the state, local, and federal levels, y'all. So you know what? I'm all for it. I voted for this, and I am so happy that this is all coming to light for our people, the freedmen, right? Now there's no excuse for us not stepping into our rightful position here in our country. So let me begin something I have today. I have on I am Black History. I have this shirt on again today because you know what? I see a lot of beings want to claim us right now. They wish they were us. But you know what? You can't be Black in America, because the freedmen are the only Black people in America that have the culture, the history, and fought for our nation. So I just wanted to put that out there. I see that also the video is getting around with me interviewing James Fishback, the gubernatorial candidate, another Republican candidate in the state of Florida. I had some comments out on the Friedman channel, because someone's like, why is he calling Byron Donalds a tether? Hey, Byron Donalds is a tether. Now I can't use the term tether with James Fishback, because basically James Fishback did express that his father's side of the family, or his side of the one part of his family, has been here in the United States after the Civil War. So, we can't say he's an Ellis Islander descendant, but one of the things he's saying is he's a heritage American, and he's all about Americans. Now, we know what he said about the reparations. I'm gonna just say this, you all. We should not be having the conversation about reparations with any immigrants, right? What they have to say, I don't listen to what an Ellis Islander, descendant of Ellis Islander, say about reparations, because at the end of the day, it's American business, and American business is going to be with the Mayflowers, the WASP, and then also it's a part of the Constitution. It is our First Amendment right to file grievances for redress against our government. And then it's a part of our 14th Amendment. So I'm going to have to break that down for people so people understand. I don't get disgruntled or upset. Now, what he said, he said nobody should be getting it, but I think that was just a defense in saying that because others have gotten it. So you can't go against the Constitution now. And we're not going to accept anybody telling us whether they're immigrant or whether they are American, right? Meaning the Mayflowers and WASP saying that we are not entitled or owed our inheritance, because we have experienced numerous situations of atrocities. And now we're seeing again real time, right? Our ancestors experienced the Freedmen's Bureau, the theft of the Freedmen's Bureau. Now we're seeing it and experiencing the theft of our wealth again in the government. The Democrats, the party, the majority of our people have voted for the last 60 years. Come on now. All right. So I had to put that out there as a disclaimer because of what people are saying, and want to say that because I interviewed James Fishback and he said what he said in the interview. Hey, that's why I am interviewing him. That's why I brought him onto the Friedman channel. So you all can hear for yourselves what he has to say, and you make your choices there in Florida, whether you want to support him as a gubernatorial candidate, or you want to go with Byron Donalds, or do you want to go with Jay Collins? For me, at this point in time, you're not going to get a perfect candidate. And I like James Fishback. That's just my personal opinion. You make your own choices, but please do vote. But besides that, let's get started. I want to make sure I open up every live, and every time I go on YouTube, oh, let me get my shirt straight. Every time I go on YouTube, I want to open with this video, because certain people still don't want to give the president his or acknowledge that the president is doing some things that he said he was going to do when he got into office. And it was probably what he wanted to do in 2020. And now we're really seeing, when he said the elections were stolen in 2020, it's coming to fruition, right? You all are now seeing it, how it all works together. And I'm going to help lay it out. I'm going to help lay it out for you as well. But right now, we're going to go to this video. I'm going to share my screen, because I have decided this needs to be, we need to open this up every live so people understand this isn't a game, and there's a lot going on. And then we have the support of a sitting president as Americans right now. So let me find, hold on, let me find it. Here we go. I think this is it. I'm going to share my screen. I'm on both of, let me see, on my live on YouTube. And we're gonna play this. I want people to keep not say that, you know what, we don't support of our federal government and to do what we want to do and move in the way that we want to move right now. So let me go ahead. Let me get it right. Let me get it right for y'all. And I'm gonna punch play. So here we go.
Black patriots fought and bled on the battlefields of the American Revolution. When you read the history, what they gave up. They gave everything to smash the chains of slavery and preserve our nation, and they did it with incredible bravery. They helped win the Wild West, tamed the skies, and saved freedom in the Second World War. There were From the very beginning, Black Americans have been a vital part of the American story, helping to make this the greatest nation in the history of the world. So true. Thank you. We thank you. We thank you for it. Black patriots fought and bled on the battlefields of the American Revolution, and they really did. When you read the history, what they gave up. They gave everything to smash the chains of slavery and preserve our nation, and they did it with incredible bravery. They helped win the Wild West, tamed the skies, and saved freedom in the Second World War. They're warriors. From the very beginning, Black Americans have been a vital part of the American story, helping to make this the greatest nation in the history of the world. So true. Thank you. We thank you. We thank you for it. Black patriots fought and bled on the battlefield.
Sharing this. I wanted to share this at the beginning of my lives. Okay. All right. I want people to hear that. I want people to continue to hear that. Okay. Because this is showing a great deal about our present president. And some of us just not getting it. We're not understanding. But anyway, we're going to move to the next one that I wanted to show, because I think I saw this from the White House. I died. I was like, are you serious? They really on some real political gang banging. And I am loving it all, because it's all being revealed. And this administration is no holds barred. They're not coming out timid. They are making sure that they take a stance, and I'm all for it, because at this present point in time, what you all, or what the freedmen need to acknowledge is that where our Black politicians, our Black American Negro freedmen leadership that you voted for, where are they in this moment? Speaking for your people, speaking out against all the fraud with the Democrats. I don't hear anything. Do y'all hear anybody? Do you all hear anything other than fighting for them immigrants? Not Americans. They fighting for immigrants. Okay, I got to show this, because this goes hard right here from the Trump administration. I have to include this here in this live today, because they went hard with this. Hold on, let me get it going. I gotta share my screen, y'all, because this one is another good one. I said I have to open with with this one, because when you see this, y'all gonna be like tripping. If you haven't seen it already, um, on X, or you haven't seen this clip, you're gonna die. That's why I titled this particular segment of the live today, as political gang banging. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. You all see my screen, and now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play this, because this is hilarious. Let's go.
Aquí lo esperan Miraflores. Venga por mí. Aquí lo esperan Miraflores. No se tarde en llegar, cobarde.
And now, if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, y'all. That was okay. It's a snippet, but I said, go ahead, Trump. Go ahead, Trump. Trump is an OG. He went and got Maduro, and he said, okay, you think I'm not serious? So that takes us to our next clip, where we have a little clip of Mark Rubio. Y'all, hey, Trump administration is on fire. I'm going to give them their props, y'all. I'm giving them their props. We're going to get a little bit more into the importance of him going and getting Maduro and what he was doing to the United States. And it goes deeper than just the oil. We hear everybody talking about, oh, it's just about the oil. No. It's more than just the oil. And then the thing about it too is we have a lot of Latin American countries that end up in these situations where their leadership is become dictators. And you don't see a lot of the people coming together in those areas and fighting and overtaking their dictators in these countries. And so after all this time, it took the Americans, and it took Trump. Trump had to get Trump in power, because Biden and Harris didn't do it. They were sitting there with them, opening up deals, conducting deals, right? And allowing Maduro to send all of his criminals out of the prisons to America to cross the border. So we definitely have to acknowledge that there was an attack on our soil. We're still going through the attack, right? But we're gonna get into it, because basically the Democratic Party is a part of the plan to overtake America. It is obvious at this point in time. If anyone else can't see it, I don't know. I don't know how people cannot see what is happening at this present point in time in our governments. And this from the federal, state, local governments. It's being overtaken by immigrants, and they're being put in position of power. I wanted to see, okay, here we go. We're going to go to, and we're going to open it up. I'm going to open up the discussion with this, because we have to talk about what Maduro was doing and why Trump went in and captured him. So let's listen to what Mark Rubio says, and he is the Secretary of State. So I'm gonna share my screen one more time, and we're gonna get to it. Oh, hold on. I want you all to hear what Mark Rubio has to say about Trump and what they're doing, and as they continue with their plan to secure America and our from being attacked. Here we go.
But I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play. The message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. We're going to take. This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States. And the president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy. But instead, he wanted to play big boy. And so now, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody, but don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that, I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
All right. We heard Mark Rubio. Let me stop sharing that. They for real, you all. This is no playtime. He let them know. He had plenty of. Okay, I'm trying to get back to my. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you heard Mark Rubio, Secretary of State, say that they gave him every opportunity to do something different and leave Venezuela, is what I heard. But Maduro said, oh no, I'm going to stay right here and I'm going to do what I want to do. And we want to see you come get me. And what happened? Woo! Okay, anyway, y'all. So with that, you heard how Maduro was setting up shop with our enemies. He spoke about Iran. He spoke about, there's other things about him doing business with China. There's also things that he was doing with the narco, right? The drug trafficking. So all of it, when I listened and read and did my deep dive, it makes sense for them to go and get him. First of all, he wasn't even a leader he wasn't voted in by the people in Venezuela. He just took over, and he's a part of the cartels. He's a part of the drug trafficking, and he was targeting the United States, which is with drugs, which is a bioweapon. And then he sent all of these gangs, and the Biden-Harris administration allowed them to come in to the United States crossing the borders. So you got what is it? I can't even pronounce the name. Hold on. Let me the gangs that are here on this soil. And they're in Chicago. And we've heard how they were taking taking over. Sorry. We heard how they have been over taking over certain areas once they came into the United States, these gangs. And we heard about them first in Colorado, and now they were also in Chicago. So let's be real about what was happening here with these beings coming from Venezuela, right? So we can't deny that we are been threatened on our soil. We cannot deny we are being threatened on our soil with these immigrants that have recently crossed the border. So I hear you, QT on duty. You said is the reason why people can't see Trump is making America great again by any means necessary. You're correct. Dirty Democrats are immigrants' first agenda, and they have to be deported. Hey, I'm all about deporting them, denaturalizing those that are committing the fraud, and deporting them or enslaving them, aka prison. And then also with that, making sure that anybody involved, especially the politicians that have been harboring these illegal aliens in sanctuary cities, they have to be prosecuted. They have to be prosecuted. There's no way around it at this point in time. And I do believe that the Trump administration is going to make sure it happens for the American people. And that's going to be a huge, huge difference. Now, with that, we're going to go over some of the things that people are talking about and why this goes deeper than just the gas, the oil. It's deeper than just the oil, right? Because from what I understand as well, there has been talk that Maduro was also a part of or working with the Democratic Party in stealing the election. So basically, they had some kind of machines that they have and sent them from Venezuela to the United States. And then also China is playing into that because the machines are also made by China. I don't know if you all know that. Let me find this. There was a gentleman, I think I have it right here, that was expressing this and explaining it. And I don't think people got this information. So let me find this clip where there is a man and he confesses. He says there has been an on-out attack. Here we go. Since Hugo Chavez was killed or they removed him out of Venezuela, Maduro was funding political dissent in America. Okay. And a part of it was Black Lives Matter. And then it also goes into a little bit deeper with China and the voting. So basically our voting in America is corrupt. The Democrats have been facilitating stealing elections. They rogue. They have totally gone rogue. And I have a clip. I'm going to show it too on how Stephen Miller calls them out. This administration, hey, this is the type of administration we need in America. I don't care what nobody says right now. This is the type of administration we need in America because they cleaning house. When he said he's going for the deep state, he's going for the deep state this time. And it's all happening before our eyes. And we just need to continue to support. And we're going to get ours, y'all. I have no doubt in my mind that we will get ours. But let me show this clip. The guy kind of speaks a little low. I'm going to make sure my volume is turned up. I want you all to hear what he says about Maduro and what he was doing over when he wasn't. Let me make sure you all understand. He was not elected by the people in Venezuela. He was not elected. He took over he took it over. Okay. And he was a narco. So let's listen once again. I got all kinds of clips, and we might go over. I think I said this, but we might go over the 2 hour and a half mark, 2 hours, because this is a lot of information. So let me get it. I'm gonna go back to the beginning, And we're going to listen to what this gentleman has to say. And yes, he's a part of the Heritage Foundation. However, this is information. This all goes into more of the globalist agenda and how the Democrats were attempting to take over America. So here we go. Let's play.
The Venezuelan cartel Maduro, before he was arrested, was trying to create problems inside the United States. It was a Cuban plan to flood our streets with narcotics, to undermine America from within. The other part of that plan was to spend money and to train and to abet a political dissent in this country. For example, I talked to a high-ranking Venezuelan defector, very high-ranking, in October, and he told me he was in the room when Hugo Chavez, before he died, gave one of the founders of Black Lives Matter millions of dollars to support the Bolivarian revolutions in U.S. streets. This was months before BLM was founded, and that founder has been photographed multiple times with Maduro. She wrote to Harlem. She wrote a report supporting one of Maduro's false elections, either through dissent in political activity or through drugs. The Venezuelan cartel, it's not really a regime, it's not really a government. The Venezuelan cartel that was headed by Maduro before he was arrested was trying to create problems inside the United States, the same way it did in Chile, in Colombia in 2021, all through the region with street riots.
Okay, I'm going to stop that. You heard him, with street riots. What are we witnessing right now? What are these people doing when ICE goes out to retrieve these immigrants? Illegal aliens. What do we see happening? They're fighting, and they're paid protesters. We know that BLM, and he said when BLM was founded, we know that BLM was not founded by those three feminists and anti-Black American Negro freedmen families, right? We know they were initially, BLM was initially founded by Black men, young Black American Negro freedmen men in St. Louis after the Mike Brown situation. And they came in, and you heard Darren Seals speak about how they came in and started taking over, right? So and then you see the plan. You see it was all paid and using our plight. They always want to use our plight. And the immigrants and everybody else get money, y'all. Come on now. But anyway, all right. So that was another one I had to bring out there to talk about what Trump is doing. We're gonna go to what the Monroe Doctrine. Trump speaks about the Monroe Doctrine and how he has a right. You have people in the left talking about, oh, he was supposed to have congressional Congress had to approve that hit. Congress, he shouldn't have gone over there and taken Maduro. Wait a minute. Didn't Obama take out Gaddafi? Did he need congressional support? I don't think so. Right. Things when Trump do something, oh, there's a problem with him protecting the Americans. But when Obama was doing it, it was no problem. Come on now. Yeah, these people are so hypocritical, and then they won't pick a side. Well, they pick a side. They kind of pick a side, right? It's more of what we do, you don't question us. But when somebody else does the same thing, we're going to question you, as if what this current administration is doing is wrong, and it's not. They're protecting the Americans. So we're gonna see what Trump says about the Monroe Doctrine, because the Monroe Doctrine is something that the United States government has had since 1823, I do believe, in what I read. So this is not a new doctrine that the United States has been implementing. And then the thing about it is, he says, hey, some of our presidents have gotten away from utilizing the Monroe Doctrine. And we're going to talk about that too. It leads us all going into where we are at right now. The Monroe Doctrine, because some of our presidents have been working deals with other governments, and Trump is saying, no, we got to protect our hemisphere. So let me find where he speaks about the Monroe Doctrine and why he's implementing it. Again, Trump is utilizing a great deal of acts, legislation from the 1800s, 1790s here in America. These are doctrines that are already in place in America and have been utilized by previous presidents. So, let me find the clip. I want you all to hear what he talks about, and we can go over the Monroe Doctrine. I think it's important for our people to understand, and we used to learn about it in history, right? In school, we learned about the Monroe Doctrine and us being able to protect ourselves in this hemisphere, the Western Hemisphere, from the Latin American countries. So let me see if I can find that clip, because I think that's important for you, you all to hear what he has to say and why he's now implementing the Monroe Doctrine as a part of his national security plan for the country. Okay, let's see. I have these already. I did you all. I did make sure that I clipped all of these as bookmarks so I could go through them with you and have to not search for them. But as you can see, I'm still searching for them. It's so many of them, but I think it's very important for us to be able to hear exactly what is being stated, because there's a lot of propaganda being spread about this administration at this point in time. And we have got to make sure that we understand what is at play, and that we are abreast and educated about, okay, here we go. We are abreast and educated about what is actually happening right now, so we can be ready for whatever goes down and comes down the pipeline. So, okay, I'm gonna share the screen, and you all will see President Trump again speaking about the Monroe Doctrine, and then we're gonna go get into it. What is the Monroe Doctrine? Why is it important? And now that he's implementing it, and why some others that could have been also implementing the Monroe Doctrine were not doing it. We already know. Democrat Party, anyway. Stephen Miller breaks it down. We're going to finish out this segment with the Monroe Doctrine, and then we're going to come and we're going to get into it about the Democrats. We got to do the history of the Democrats. They showing out, y'all. They showing out. And we should not be voting for any Democrats going forward in the midterms. I'm sorry. They compromise. Here we go.
Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign, menacing, offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. Potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries. And not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines. And the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot, by a real lot. They now call it the Donroe Document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing that. You heard it from the president. He's implementing, re-implementing the Monroe Doctrine. And now I'm gonna share my screen so we can just get a little synopsis of what the Monroe Doctrine is so people can understand exactly what he was speaking of. And let me share my screen again. I want you all to see this and read this. This is just a little synopsis. It's not the actual document. Of course, I'm using the internet, Google, to just give us a little brief synopsis of exactly what it means, what it says, and how long the United States of America has been implementing the Monroe Doctrine. Although not all presidents have been sharing. And that's what he just said. Okay, my computer is a little slow today. And we're going to get to, okay, all right. Okay, so my computer was a little slow there, y'all. Okay, bear with me. I got the Monroe Doctrine up here, and we're going to go through it a little bit so you all can see exactly what this document was about. And this, again, I had just expressed it, this doctrine is from the 1800s. It's from the 1800s. So it's not a new document. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Darren Seals, they targeted Darren Seals and the other young men that founded Black Lives Matter. We know most of them ended up dead. Yes, so you are correct. So okay, sorry, you all. I shared the wrong document. Let me go back and get the right document. We just saw that. I just did a Google search. We just gonna go old Monroe Doctrine says via just a brief Google search. It's not the actual document. It's just a synopsis. And we're gonna look at that and go over it. So people can't say, you know what, I know what he's talking about. Guess what? I'm gonna help you to understand what he's talking about. So the Monroe Doctrine. Let me make sure over here on YouTube. If you can see on YouTube, my screen is black right now. Oh, there we go. Okay. So here it goes. Here we go. The Monroe Doctrine, proclaimed by President James Monroe in 1823, was a U.S. foreign policy stating that further European colonization or interference in the Western Hemisphere would be viewed as hostile, establishing the Americas as a U.S. sphere of influence and pledging U.S. non-interference in European affairs in return. Its key principles are separate spheres: America's Europe, non-colonization, non-intervention, effectively warning old world powers to stay out, and marking a break from European politics, later used to justify United States dominance and interventions in Latin America. Okay, there it is. Because Latin America, we already can see whenever something goes wrong, those people can't seem to be able to fight and remove their dictators, y'all. Come on now. Come on. The Venezuelans are so happy Trump did what he did. And there's a benefit to that. The Venezuelans can now go back home. There's no need to continue to come here to America seeking asylum or anything, refugee status, anything like that. They can now go back home because I do believe a part of President Trump's national security plan is to make sure that country is turned over to those people. And they have a form of government and do for themselves, not us dictate to them in any way. Now, of course, we're going to get something out of it, as we should. We had to go help them, and reciprocity. That's universal laws. You got to do a reciprocity as a part of it. Now, separate spheres. The Americas and Europe were distinct political systems, each with its own sphere of influence. Non-colonization. The American continents were no longer open to colonization by European powers. Do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear that? Now we see what's happening in our government right now. We got a balkanization with immigrants fighting over here in our politics. And that's all European stuff. Yes, ma'am, we've helped them. They surely can help us. We surely, yes, ma'am, there's a trade-off here. This is a healthy relationship. Okay, so then it says non-interference. So the U.S. would not interfere in existing European colonies or internal European politics. So, and we know the British, the English, and I got a video of that, are interfering in American government politics. It's been ongoing for a while, and some of our presidents have sat down at the table with them. And that's Trump. Trump is saying no longer, no. We implementing the Monroe Doctrine again, and we're gonna make sure America dominates over here in the Western Hemisphere ourselves, right? In any Latin countries, and you need us to help you, okay, we're gonna help you out, but it's a trade-off. So it says, protect new nations to prevent European powers from reclaiming control over recently independent Latin American nations, assert U.S. influence to declare that the U.S. as a major power and leader in the Western Hemisphere, and then a foundation of become a cornerstone of U.S. foreign policy influence expansion. That you know about manifest destiny. And later justifying intervention. So anyway, here we go. Post-independence era. Many Latin American nations have recently gained independence from Spain and Portugal. And look at what's happening. There's still some interference from European nations. So we are seeing some things that supposedly, back in the day, they were already attempting to make sure it didn't happen. And we're seeing it happen and unfold again in this time, real time, during our lifetime, you all. This is something else. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to stop sharing about the European or the Monroe Doctrine. I do have a political analyst that really breaks it down for us. And she gives us how most people are missing what Trump is doing because they're so caught up with the propaganda. Oh, Maduro, he shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have done that with Maduro, because they want you to go against Trump and this administration and what they're doing, because they're basically getting America back on track. So I'm like, hey, Trump, we ready to sit at the table for Friedman Reconstruction 3.0. We right here. We got the proposal. We got the agenda. We're the grassroots, Friedman grassroots. Come on, Trump. We right here. We ready. We ready. So let me go to, oh, here she is. Okay. So this is Susan Kokanda. So I'm going to play a little bit of what she speaks about, how most of us are missing what is exactly happening with Trump's foreign security policy because of how the left likes to spin everything to keep us distracted. So listen, I'm going to give I think it's about 2 minutes of what she has to say. And then we're going to come back and we're going to get into the Democratic Party. I call them the demon's rat. But I'm going to be respectful and say, the Democratic Party and all of this political gang banging, y'all, they rogue. The Democratic Party has gone rogue. There's no way we should be voting for the Democratic Party in the midterms. Now, I get some people have a strategy in their areas. Got it. You don't have a strategy in your area. You're not actually implementing anything at this point in time. And there's just, oh, stop sharing. There's just candidates and we don't have freedmen candidates running in your area, and there's no strategy being implemented, you all don't go vote for them Democrats. I'm gonna just say it. QT on duty, these cutthroat third world barbarian criminals that dumped on, destroyed, and devastated, corrupted. Yes, ma'am. They're right here on our soil. And that was exactly what Maduro was attempting to do. And the Biden-Harris administration, Democrats, were right in on it. They were right in on it. It's all coming to fruition. It has all been revealed, you all. So we got to have our eyes now. This is when we say we woke. Consciously aware of what's happening, using your God-given instincts, intuition, critical thinking skills at this moment in time. I call it discernment. We have got to discern at this point in time. Yes, ma'am. If we stop helping Latin America, they would. Well, they're already failing. So see, how can Latin Americans come over here and tell us, oh, we make America great? Hispanics trying to claim immigrants make America great. No. We can't listen to that bull. We already know. They don't even fight for their homelands. I'm sorry. It is what it is. We have to help them every time you turn around. So let's not play these games. But I want you all from Miss Susan, because she points out some great things, and I think it's important for us for our understanding on what's happening with this Trump administration, and that's why I'm calling them the OG. The OG.
First major disruption of all of that is Donald Trump, but he's also not alone. Obviously, Russia under Putin, in the interest of Russia, not in the interest of a global financier elite. We made an economic revolution as much as we did a political revolution. We created a national bank. That began the process where everything was financialized. Everything was simply then tied to some parasite which just sucked everything out of it. If you think about the narco-terrorists as part of this global financier elite, the real war on drugs has got to be against these financier interests. And Wall Street and London have never wanted a war on drugs. The American people, not foreign nations or globalist institutions, will control their own destiny.
To that point, like, how critical is this next year? Is it make or break?
I mean, I think this is the equivalent of what Lincoln had to do to win the Civil War.
Susan Kokindo, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Like I was saying right before we hit record, I very much am looking forward to this. As I was explaining, we've had a recurring guest on, Tom Luongo, who's very passionate about the City of London and the fact that most people have not diagnosed the City of London as the problem of geopolitics today, of global control. You've been on this subject for quite a while and have been putting out incredible content about how it pertains to what's happening in the world today. But first, I think, just to give a high-level synopsis of the City of London thesis, their control over the global economy and political affairs for the last 300 years, and then we can pull it forward to today and what's happening.
Sure. I mean, I think the fastest way for people to think about this is just think about what we fought the American Revolution against. We fought it against a British Empire. Now, what was that British Empire? Well, the British Empire was very much dominated by two institutions, the Bank of England and the British East India Company, both of which represented kind of like the modern codification of imperialism, where you have private financial interests who actually have more power than the nominal governments. Now, it gets a little different when you have monarchies, but essentially, you know, when you looking at the British Empire, you look at the monarchy and all of the institutions that are connected to that. You know, I always remind people, for those of us who, you know, remember the old James Bond series, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Who runs MI6? It's not the government, it's not the parliament, but you have this complex of things, which includes the Bank of England, the British intelligence services, but then the City of London itself is this unique incorporated entity of I don't remember how many square miles, which has its own independent existence. And it is where the major financial flows of the world, go through. So when you look at that complex, this is what we actually fought the American Revolution against, because their intention is we're going to keep everybody under our control through financial flows, and by the way, through perpetual wars, and get them pitted against each other, and they have no place else to go for finances other than these private central banks or the institutions that are tied to the City of London. And then the upstart Americans came along and said, no, we don't like that. We want to be sovereign. We want to be sovereign politically. We want to be sovereign economically. And one of the most important things that we did, which was really quite we made an economic revolution as much as we did a political revolution. We created a national bank where the nation was not subservient to private bankers, but the national bank was subservient to the interests of the nation. And of course, that went by the way in various iterations, and then we ended up with our own central bank in 1913. So when you think City of London, think about this entire imperial complex, which is no different, again, than what we fought the American Revolution against.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. I wanted to put this, what we're learning is most of the narcotics, and the money that's been laundered, y'all, it's all going through London. It's all going through the British. That's what they're learning. That's what they're talking about. To control America. And then when you talk about the globalization and them open the borders, that leads me to the one more thing. We have to talk about how President Trump just pulled us out of United Nations and pulling America out of all of these other entities or organizations where the British or the Europeans have control and can know any and everything with how America's is moving. So let me play that clip. That just happened. If you all didn't know, Trump has officially pulled America out of the United Nations. Now, we know some people might not like that as well. However, I think it's a great move. I'm all for it. So they don't have any control over our nation. They're sitting back, doing deals, backdoor deals with our politicians. And you all think about it. J.P. Morgan had that freight of drugs. Y'all remember that? That whole ship of drugs. Nothing happened. J.P. Morgan ship of drugs. Let me find that one. But we're going to listen to the president on why he's pulling us out of the United Nations. J.P. Morgan ship seized. We ain't lying up in here. Cargo ship owned by J.P. Morgan, seized by the United States. We're going to get to that. We're going to throw it up in here so people can see, because they ain't going to believe me. They won't believe it. And I want y'all to see it to believe it. Hear it for yourselves. Nobody has to lie about anything. The truth has been revealed. Hold on. We're going to get to the UN. Let me share my screen. We're going to listen to the president, because he is definitely making moves. Trump is an OG up in here, y'all. He's an OG. I'm giving him his props. I'm going to give him his props. He making big moves up here in the United States for us. And it only positions us, you all. I'm going to keep saying it. It positions us to be in a good place, okay? All right, we're going to listen to the president right here. Let's see. Again, my screen is a little slow. Here we go.
not solving the problems it should. Too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that? On the way to infiltrate our southern border. Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden. We have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore because they know they can't get through. But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them and not finance them. In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world, trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated and deplete our social safety net.
Okay. All right. Y'all heard it from the president, and we already know this was when we heard about it. I remember hearing about it, that they were funneling and helping these people get to America because it's a part of the globalist agenda that ties in to the Europeans dictating to America. It ties into Maduro and what he was doing in making sure all the narcotics was coming here. We got the Mexican drug cartels crossing the border, bringing in fentanyl that is still coming from the Chinese. Maduro over here in Venezuela now making deals with the Chinese and Iran. Do y'all see how this is set up? Full court press to take out America. Full court press. We got Chinese over here done bought up land near our what do you call them? Our military bases. Come on, we got to be real about what's happening right now here in America. We got to be real. We have terrorists on our soil, you all, and we got to do everything in our power as Americans and the freedmen, right? Because we already know our ancestors have fought on and off this soil. So, hey, you think you're going to come over here and take over? Not happening. I'm joining this president. I'm all about this national security plan he's implementing, because we are surrounded at this point in time. They're on the soil, Chinese spies all within the government, and Democrats aligning with them. Tim Walz taught in China, was going to visit in China all the time. And look, oh Lord, we're going to get to it because the Democratic Party has gone rogue. They are, okay, come on. Hold on. I'm going to get to Stephen Miller. We're going to get to Stephen Miller because Stephen Miller just really calls them out. And I love him. He just straight up just calls them out. And we got to talk about it. We cannot sit here and act like what is happening is not happening. But before we get to that, so people don't know, so people will know that I'm not lying, I'm going to share my screen again on the cargo ship owned by J.P. Morgan that was seized, and it had all kinds of drugs. And we're going to go take it back. This was some years ago. Let's see. And you know what? When we go back into it, let's see who was president at that time. I think that'll make a big difference. Let's see who was president when J.P. Morgan's ship was seized with all those drugs. Let me share my screen. Okay. Here we go. Cargo ship. We're going to read this. We want everybody to read this, to know this truth. Okay, so cargo, here it is. This was 2019. 2019. Cargo ship on Morgan Chase seized by U.S. Wait a minute, was that Trump? Trump was in office? Was Trump in office again? Okay. So it's New York business. U.S. authorities in Philadelphia seized a cargo vessel in June, nearly 20 tons of cocaine on board. The ship, as it turns out, is owned by a fund run by banking giant J.P. Morgan Chase. Well. So this is a part of a transportation strategy fund run for the bank's asset management unit. JP Morgan Chase does not have any operational control of the vessel. It is a Liberian flagship that is run by the Swiss-based Mediterranean Shipping Company. And I'm in. Whoa. You don't know what's happening with your property? When you shipping, wait a minute, you're shipping cocaine. You're not checking to see what kind of products they are shipping on your ship, on your freight. The freight they shipping on the ship. Well, come on, y'all, help me out. I'm tongue-tied. Help me out. They don't know what's going on. Oh, yeah. Okay. And what did Miss Susan just tell us? It's all about the banking. Did she not? Party on American soil. And if we teach our children this history, I think, especially the midterms coming up, we cannot continue to support a party that is attempting to destroy our homeland. That's where I'm at. I'm ready. But again, I know some people are running in positions because it's a strategy. I don't know if they're going to make it because it's not looking good with the Democratic Party, y'all. It is not looking good at all. So let me get to this clip with Stephen Miller because he really breaks it down and what the Democratic Party is doing at this moment. And let me see. Let me find this clip. And it's a little slow, so give me a moment. My internet, all of a sudden, it want to be slow on me. So let's see. We're going to get to it. So let me see. Any more comments? Yes, doing the math. Okay, you're doing the math. Yeah, we got to do the math. Why is it that all of our money, you all, it's been plundered? All of our money, it's been plundered, which makes sense for us to separate, to delineate, ethno-aggregate, so we're not going down in this ship with everybody else. And I do believe that with this current administration, that is not going to be a problem. It is understood. It can be easily understood, but we as the grassroots must speak up and speak out. That is where I'm at. We don't have any representation. You are not going to have the Democratic Party speaking on our behalf. They're speaking up for immigrants. They are the party of immigrants. And it's all in our face. Okay, here we go. I found the clip with Stephen Miller. Let me cue it up. I want you all to hear what he has to say about the Democratic Party. And I'm in agreement. At this point in time, I'm in agreement. And I'm happy that this administration is in office to really handle some things. Now, we still got some Republicans, you all. I'm hearing Republicans speak on how even they have to do some work. And that's a part of, I do believe, the uniparty. So here we go. Okay, I'm getting some internet now. Let's see. I hope it continues, because this is great information for you all. And I hope you all share with your family. Share with your family. Have these discussions about what is really happening in America right now. We have the opportunity to change the trajectory as well, but with this administration. But we got to support them.
The Democrat.
Hold on, here we go. We're going to get to it. We have to make sure we support this administration. Here we go.
The Democrat Party does not fight for, care about, or represent American citizens. It is an entity devoted exclusively to bangers and illegal alien killers and terrorists. The Democrat Party is not a political party. It is a domestic extremist organization. The Democrat Party does not fight for, care about, or represent American citizens. It is an entity devoted exclusively to the defense of hardened criminals, gangbangers, alien killers, and
he said the Democratic Party. Oh, hold on. We are seeing this play out. But here's another clip. I want to play this other clip, one more clip with Stephen Miller, where he goes in and he speaks about how the Biden-Harris administration with Mayorkas devised their plan to make sure they replace our voters, us, the freedmen, with these immigrants in this country, to make sure they're a voting base and they take our resources and they retrieve it. And then we already know how they have been supporting the Somalians, right? We already know how they have been supporting the Somalians and getting in position and making sure that they retain the vote of the Somalians in Minnesota. And Trump is coming after these mayors and these governors. He speaks about, he talks about how he's going after cutting off funding for Illinois, Minnesota, and California, right? He's cutting off federal funding, and they're all under investigation. It is happening. Oh, so we just need to continue to speak out and support what is happening, because it's only gonna make sure that we get in our rightful positions, you all. It's that time. I'll play. Let me see. Where is the one? Stephen, here we go. We'll listen to this one, and then we're gonna get into the history of the Democratic Party, at least our relationship. And when I say our relationship, I'm talking about the freedmen, Black Americans' relationship with the Democratic Party. We have got to talk about it, because they've just used our plight. They use our history. They use our culture. They use everything of the freedmen, Black Americans, and give it to all of it, setting up the immigrants. Time and time and time again. And we have got to acknowledge that we've had our own aligned with this strategy and plan for our people. We got to hold them accountable. We got to hold them accountable. Okay, so let's listen to what's again about the Democratic Party.
your audience perfectly, Sean. This was not a loophole. The Biden administration, Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, devised a scheme to fly illegal aliens into the country and then to escort them en masse across the border by the millions and to give them something known as parole, which gives them a work permit, which gives them a social security number, which gives them access to the voting booth. This was the plan all along, to get them here illegally so they can get free government benefits, get hooked to welfare, and be able to participate in American elections. This was an attack on democracy by the Democrats. You have California, a sanctuary state, that is refusing to turn over even illegal alien criminals and gang members to ICE. So these are illegal aliens in California who have been arrested by California police, by California law enforcement for serious crimes, for crimes against children, for felonies, for crimes that threaten public safety, and they are refusing to hand these criminals back into the cities to offend and offend again. By any definition, what California is doing is criminal. It is a violation of our laws. It is one.
Okay, so you all heard it. They know the plan. They've been investigating. They're calling out the Biden-Harris administration. And we all know who was the border czar? Who was the border czar in the Biden-Harris administration? Hold on, sorry about that. Kamala Harris was the border czar, you all, in the Biden-Harris administration. The same being that claimed that she was us. She was Black. Oh, I'm not going to do anything specifically to help Black people. Is that not what she said? Shaking her head and everything. And then let all of these immigrant terrorists, illegal aliens, onto our soil, and they were criminals. And putting them up, giving them housing, the basics, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, food, clothing, shelter. And now we're also finding out they were getting Social Security, Medicaid, all kinds of food stamps. Well, we knew they were getting it, right? People were reporting it, but I guess, some people didn't want to believe that this is actually happening, right? And it was actually happening. Now all of the truth has been revealed by the Trump administration. And they're also going deeper into these investigations. Secretary Noem has expressed that they have subpoenaed, and Civil Rights Division right now have subpoenaed these states to release their voting rolls or release the individuals that are on their list or receiving these benefits, and they don't want to do it. 22 states do not want to do it. And they're all, you already know, Democratic-led states. So come on, y'all. We got to be real about what's going on right now. There is an attempt to take over the American government by the Democrats. They have gone rogue. I'm going to keep saying it. Now, I want to go make sure we go over a brief history of the Democratic Party. Now, I've been saying, this is how I describe the Democratic Party relationship with the freedmen, Black Americans. I look at the Democratic Party as the abuser. I look at them as abusing us, right? Because when I look at, I had a space this past summer, and I said, oh, look at everything the Democratic Party does. It aligns with an abuser. And what do I mean by that? Before we get into the history. The power and control wheel of domestic violence. And the power and control wheel in domestic violence, I'm going to show you all this. There are certain things that abusers do. Okay? There are certain behaviors that abusers exemplify. I'm going to share my screen again. And the Democratic Party, to me, exemplifies all of these behaviors with the freedmen or Black Americans. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Because we've been their voting base for so long. And then when you get into the history, you're going to really see how all of this comes together. Okay, so this is considered a control wheel in domestic violence. So you have physical violence, you have sexual violence. The history of America with the freedmen and slavery, Jim Crow, we know there's a history of sexual violence. Okay, we're going to leave that there. But let's look at the wheel, power and control wheel. You have using isolation, controlling what she does, who she sees and talks to, what she reads and where. We, the Democratic Party, is in this moment attempting to isolate and control the freedmen and their vote and how we move. Do we not? Do we not see that? I see it. You get alienated if you decide you want to vote for policy and you want to vote for Trump. You are shamed, right? They want to isolate you. You do anything, you go to the Democrats for anything. What they do? They ignore you, minimizing, denying, and blaming, making light of abuse and not taking concerns of it seriously. So, you go to the Democrats or we talk about reparations. What do? You have some issues and concerns. They don't even want to take accountability, even right now, about where we're at. Look at some of the mayors of Cities for Action. They blaming the people, or they will blame us, right? You are the reason why you are not wealthy right now. When they plundering your wealth, they taking your wealth, that your hard-earned money, blaming you, denying you and what you claim for yourself, and then minimize anything that you say when you say, this is not right. Using children. Are they not using our children? Influencers? Indoctrinating our children that we should fight for immigrants? The indoctrination of, Trump is bad. Trump is not good for this country. He's trying to be a dictator in America. Come on, y'all. Using male privilege. I think that we see that quite often, and it doesn't matter where that's what area environment. We know they're going to use their male privilege. Using economic abuse. Whoa, boy. All of our wealth is being plundered right now. What is ours is being, what is it? Waste, fraud, and abuse is happening right now. Our monies for our communities going to illegal aliens, setting up shop, using coercion and threats. Well, we know that they've already done that plenty of times, trying to coerce us and threaten us if we go and vote for Trump. They even use that with the American people, right? They've been doing it for a while, using intimidation. All of that comes from the Democratic Party. Those are their behaviors. So, they're abusers. They're definitely abusers to me. and how they treat the freedmen. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's kind of how I view the Democratic Party. But you know what? While we're right here, let's go to a little history, a brief history of the Democratic Party in America. Because when you look at the history, you'll be able to see all of this really just comes into play. Oh, you know what? Let me just do it like this. I'm going to do this. All right. Okay. Yeah, this is where I want to go. Okay. So I'm going to read this off. And I want you all see what I put up there, right? What I typed in. Democratic Party paramilitary in the post-Civil War Reconstruction era of the United States. Several white supremacist paramilitary organizations, such as the White League and the Red Shirts, served as de facto military wings of the Southern Democratic Party. Their primary goal was to use violence, intimidation, and force to regain political power for white Democrats, repress the civil and voting rights of freed African Americans, and restore white supremacy. Now, we're using white supremacy in as a term today. We include a lot of the immigrants right now. So it's not just white supremacy, it's immigrant supremacy as well. But we see at the beginning how the Democratic Party, after the Civil War. Now let me roll it back a little bit with a little history. The Democratic Party, most of them were Confederates. Okay? So most of the Confederates, right? You said, what did they say? What does it say here? The Southern Democratic Party. We know that slavery would also happen in the north, but predominantly it was in the South with all of these colonies in the States. And when we fought, a lot of our ancestors ended up being able to escape when the war happened, and some of them went all the way up to the north and joined the North to make sure they defeated the Confederates. Now, we also know Abraham Lincoln said, hey, I need these people. I need the slaves. I need the free people to help us fight this war against the Confederates. Hence the reason why Lincoln said it saves the Union and it saved America. So the the colored troops, which were the free and enslaved that fought on the side of the Union, made sure we defeated the Confederates. And they still mad. But now they also have a lot of immigrants here because they want to take us off the soil. But anyway, I wanted to put that out there because, as you can see, they have been the ones attempting to repress freed African Americans and restore white supremacy. So what is the White League? It's formed in Louisiana in 1874. The White League openly operated to intimidate y'all. What y'all see right there? What does it say? Freedmen. And disrupt Republican Party organizing. They played a central role in overthrowing Republican rule in the state and were involved in a violent conflicts such as the Colfax Massacre. And in the Colfax Massacre, I do know that they did go and attempt to kill people, and they did kill people, right? For voting standing up for themselves. So they did a lot in the Colfax massacre. You know what? The red shirts, prominent in South Carolina and North Carolina during the 1876 and later elections. The red shirts were an organized version of earlier rifle clubs. Their battle plan involved intimidating. Again, we got these different terms that are being used. Freedmen here. Now they using black voters. And ensuring Democratic candidates won elections through coercion and violence. All of these terms you all relate to the power and control wheel on abusers and domestic violence. We just read it. And then we have the KKK. While the early KKK was more underground terrorist organization, it also served the interests of the Democratic Party during Reconstruction, acting as a force to destroy Republican infrastructure and reestablish racial subordination. Okay, so here it says, it brings us to today. The modern Democratic Party has no paramilitary wing or affiliated paramilitary organizations, and the use of private paramilitary groups to achieve political ends in the U.S. largely ended with the close of Reconstruction in the 1870s. And you know what? I beg to differ. I beg to differ with that, because they're still utilizing abusive behaviors toward the freedmen to this day. So this is why I like, you know what? We got to talk about this. We got to talk about this. There's no, in this moment, this happened with our ancestors. And now we are here in 2025, 2026. And the Democratic Party is again gone rogue. They are roguish, thuggish. So when I look at Trump and I say he's an OG, he taking them down. I'm on the OG side. I like this political game banging though. I'm happy to let you know. I like it because we got an OG and his administration. They are not backing down, and I'm all with it. I'm all with it. Let's roll with them because they doing the work and they making sure that they speak up for the people. And we, as the freedmen, the Americans and patriots of this land, we got to stand on it, y'all. We got to stand on it. Let's stand in it. What are we afraid of? I'm with Trump. What do you got to lose? What you got to lose? So anyway, okay, so we're going to get now that we had that little session, I want to go to another video and I'm going to talk about, well, let's see, the corruption, the fraud in these states. So we know Trump is already going after some of these blue states. He stated it. And we heard him say, you know what? He's going after Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz in Minnesota. Look at all of this fraud in the state and local governments. So here we go. We're gonna start with Kristi Noem, Department of Homeland Security Secretary. We're gonna start out with her and see what she says. She's another part of Trump's administration. So I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna get into it because we have to understand that the Democratic Party is not here for the freedmen. We got to get rid of the Democratic Party. They got to go. Anybody still talking about the Democrats, it's about America and love America, I'm looking at them sideways and like they're crazy. Something's wrong with you at this point in time. I'm gonna just, ain't no way. Okay, let's listen to Kristi Noem.
Bring it on. The governor of California says, bring it on.
Oh, we'll be there. We think that this is just the tip of the iceberg. So Minnesota is unbelievable what we've seen, but it is leading us to networks all over the country and overseas, and we're going to follow every single investigations. Is an incredible team of individuals who go after human traffickers, sex traffickers, but the fraud that we have in our public programs that are tied to California, absolutely. We're going to come to you, Governor Newsom, and we're going to arrest every single individual that has ties to this kind of stealing of taxpayer dollars, and we will hold them accountable.
The governor of California says, bring it on.
Oh, we'll be there.
Okay. You all heard that, right? She said all over this nation and internationally. All over the nation and internationally, that they've had this fraud crime syndicate going on. We know the Somalians have been funneling the money from the states to support their jihadist Islam. Okay, so I want to stay with California just for a minute, because we had a lot of people out in California fighting for reparations. They've given them the okie doke, making sure the money, even for the office, when they attempted to establish an Office of Freedmen Affairs or American Descendants of Slavery, they said that they didn't have any money. And then some of the money, like $6 million, they still wanted to give it to a college or something like that. You know what? I really need to have people from California on the show. I really need to interview some of those individuals. But this is how the depth of the fraud is going in California. And we're going to get to what the president says as well about what he's going to do. But hold on. We're going to listen to now this gentleman. I will say this. Hold on. I'm attempting to stop this, but it's working.
It's the tip of the iceberg. Nobody has bought in California because every level of government has been owned by the Democrats here in the state of California.
Okay, so we're going to
listen. I'm uniquely situated. I served in the legislature there in California before the president appointed me to be the U.S. attorney down in Los Angeles. The first thing I did was create the Homeless Fraud and Corruption Force. California has spent $24 billion in the last 5 years on homelessness, and no one can account for where that money has really gone for. So the first thing I did was, and all we did is follow the money. We already charged millions of dollars in fraud. I can tell you more are coming probably as soon as this month. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Nobody has looked at the fraud in California because every level of government has been owned by the Democrats here in the state of California.
Okay.
Listen, I'm uniquely situated. I served in the legislature.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. Go back to I don't know. That was tripping on me. I couldn't get it out, couldn't stop it or anything there for a minute, attempting to share my screen. But the fact of the matter is, Bill Esselstyn was a legislator. He informed you all that he was a legislator in in California. Now, I do know the reparationists in California that was attempting to get their bills passed went to him and had him as a Republican to present the bill. As far as I forget a bill, I forget the name of the bill, the number of the bill. But anyway, he agreed. He agreed to support the freedmen or the Americans descendants of slavery in California with their bill and legislation to present it, right? So he could get a vote. They could get a vote on it. How about the LA or California Black Caucus did not want him to present the bill. Now, he's a Republican. He expressed that there's not a great deal of Republicans in the legislature or legislating in California. But he stuck his neck out for the people, for the freedmen in California. He's now appointed, as you heard him say, attorney with Trump administration. I'm just saying, I might need the people from California to come onto the Freedman channel and talk politics about what their experience and what happened. But he did it, and look at what he's doing right now. So we got some allies. That's what I'm gonna call him, an ally that literally was attempting to help the freedmen in legislation. And you had the Democrats in California and those that are a part of the California Black Caucus that blocked the legislation for freedmen. But yet and still, they're making sure they pass legislation for the Hispanics and the Latinos. Come on. Immigrants. Now, okay, we're going to get to this video. And it's President Trump. And he is talking about what he's going to do about these states. And the hammer's coming down. Now, when the hammer come down, we need the support. I'm all about, I don't care if they spend their last days in jail. I don't care. Because guess what? They locked up our Black men. They locked them up for little minor drug offenses. Now, this is fraud. Major fraud in the federal government and on the state and local levels, and harboring illegals. Think I'm about to sit up here and cry for them, people over our families? Y'all got me messed up.
No, we brought down crime by 25%.
Okay, I got to start it over.
He's not doing anything.
Okay.
He had a day where they had 17 murders not too long ago. 17 murders and 77 people shot, but 17 died. And then he talks about, we can handle it. He can't handle it. But we pull back and we'll go in at the appropriate time. But we're the ones that brought the crime down. We brought it down 20%. They didn't bring it down. Pritzker didn't bring it down. Same thing with Gavin Newsom from Minnesota and from the United States. It's actually more from the United States because Minnesota puts in, and we're not going to pay it anymore. We're not going to pay them, and we're not going to pay California, and we're not going to pay Illinois with that big slob of a governor that they have. We brought down crime by 25%. He didn't do anything. He's not doing anything. But they want us to leave. They had 17 and 77 people shot, but 17 died. And then he talks about, we can handle it. He can't handle it. But we'll go at the appropriate time. We're the ones that brought the crime down. We brought it down 20%. They didn't bring it down. Pritzker didn't bring it down. Same thing with Gavin Newsom.
All right. You heard the president. All right. So there you heard it. He talked about Pritzker. He talked about Newsom in California. And then we already know he's targeting Minnesota, Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz. So we know those 3 states right now are under the radar. We also know that there's an investigation going on in the Civil Rights Division and HUD with the mayor in Boston. And we're hearing about more crime coming out of Boston. Are we not? With not only the Somalians, but now you got the Haitians. Woo-wee! Y'all, the same things that making sure they operate in our identity are the same beings plundering our wealth. And the Democratic Party has set them up so that they could do this and turned a blind eye. Okay, so we got to hear. Let me see. I want to go to the hearings. They had the hearing not too long ago. Oh, hold on. Let's go with SNAP. Let's check out the SNAP. All the money going to the immigrants in SNAP, and we've been made. What was the stereotype and the stigma for the Black American Negro freedmen? That we were all the ones on welfare, receiving food stamps. Oh, we lazy. Woo! Oh, you know what? We just need to go ahead and go to that congressional hearing. Hold on. Let's just go to the congressional hearing. It's on my page because there's this one young gentleman in a congressional hearing. He lets them know, okay, we're not listening to you. You just supported the Somalians and fraud, and you don't have. We're not listening to that. That's basically what he was saying. And he was grilling this gentleman out of, I shouldn't call him a gentleman, but he was grilling this man out of Minnesota that wanted to take up for the Somalians. Let me find that instead of going to the other one, because I think that would be more important for us to see. Let's see. Let me go down my timeline. Y'all, my internet all of a sudden is slow today. I want us to really be able to put it all together. It's all slow today. But hold on, I'm coming. I'm going to get it all for us. Make sure we put it all together. And you all can make sure that you're sharing this with your family members so that they understand what is at play and why our communities are destitute. They've been rerouting all of our money to the immigrants. And we should be very upset. Here we go. Congressman Brandon Gill of Minnesota. What up? Yo, okay, here we go. I'm going to show him. You got to hear him gruel his own representation, his own politicians and government officials in Minnesota. Let me share my screen. Here we go. Okay, you have got to see this. Okay, here, let's see.
Democrats. Ask you, Mr. Hudson, thank you for being here. Did those who do this fraud, do they typically vote for Republicans or Democrats, in your opinion?
In my opinion, thank you for qualifying it like that, I would say they most definitely overwhelmingly vote for Democrats.
Do they typically donate to Republicans or Democrats?
To my knowledge, they
don't
donate to Republicans, they donate to Democrats, in my opinion, yes.
Got it. So would you say this is the Somali population is an important to win over politically?
Unquestionably.
Got it. And do you think it would have hurt fraud?
Very
clearly. Got it. So in other words, you're saying that there was a political incentive to cover up fraud.
Okay. I'm gonna just stop sharing this video. There's another one that he grooves an official that they required to come to the actual hearing because they this fraud with the Somalians is off the chain in Minnesota. It is just ridiculous. So let's get to where he is actually asking them these different questions, and we'll get back to the USDA and the SNAP benefits. But he covers it in this questioning with these senators. He literally asked them how many of the Somalians are on welfare, Medicaid. And it's just when you hear what the answer, the other guy tries to go around it, and he says no. He actually gives the stats of what he has and what he's located. So my internet, y'all. Why today? Why today? Why? Let's see. We know that money is going from the Democrats to George Soros. They have found that out, that connection. It is so he's involved with the paid protesters. So we have a great deal of fraud on behalf of the Democratic Party. And all of this money is going outside of the United States of America. Let me go to my bookmarks. That might be better. And I can find it and locate it. Okay, let's see. Because I do have this clip. And everybody is making a big deal about what happened with ICE the other day with that woman that was shot and killed. Y'all, I stand with ICE. I stand with ICE. She used her vehicle as a weapon, and it didn't work out. It did not work out well for her for using that vehicle as a weapon. We cannot support that type of behavior. Now, people are comparing our civil rights movement to what these people are doing. No, we exemplified it. And you know what? Right now, I'm so happy that our ancestors thought about how they were going to go about this in peaceful protesting. Because now we're seeing how them being peaceful and how they were able to show the rest of the world that we were utilizing civil disobedience where they were being very violent. And now we have protesters that are on the soil and they're violent towards the police, the law enforcement. That's not what we were doing. That is not what we were doing. So it's not the same to me. So please don't allow people to claim that that is the same. It is not the same. That's not the same history. Not at all. So where is, okay, I thought I saved these. Let's see. We'll go to the USDA and I'm going to go back and find that clip because I think that clip is very important in how the testimony went with these individuals, especially with the young senator questioning I think he was also a former district attorney. So, okay, here we go. We found at least the 85% of Americans want their state leadership to cooperate with the SDA as far as who's on the SNAP rolls, right? And these states still do not want to give up that information to our federal government. So, I'm really questioning how. Okay, I'm really struggling to understand how the states now think that they can trump federal government laws. Like no state, the federal government supersedes, the Constitution supersedes. Federal laws supersede states, constitutions, and laws. Most states' laws have to align up with the federal. So what is this that we think we cannot do? Is ask these states. I mean, what I'm talking about cannot do comply. I should say comply when the federal government requests documentation. But let's listen to what they have to say.
State question is a really important one. And for those of us running agencies with these programs, I mean, I've talked to a lot of you already about how we have 22 blue states that won't give us their SNAP data so that we can figure out and ensure that those who really need these programs are actually getting them. California, the amount is absolutely stunning. And for Medicaid, et cetera. I know, Dr. Oz, you've talked a lot about that. This is a significant harmed in all of this conversation. Right, is when you say blue states and red states, in those states, there are all kinds of our citizenry and aren't all Democrat or aren't all Republican. We had a poll that just came out that had about 85% of all Americans believe that states should turn their data over on SNAP where the fraud is and ensure these programs are going where they need to go. So my request of the states and these blue state governors is partner with us. Let us figure out how to do this Medicaid program to protect every tax dollar, but to also ensure those who need it the most vulnerable, are getting the programs they need versus those who are not even.
Okay. All right. So you heard that. They are to make sure that American citizens are receiving these benefits because they are very much aware that these benefits are now going to illegals, not the American citizens that's supposed to be receiving it. And you have Democrats that don't want to release the information because we already know what the information is going to say, don't we? We already know that they've been harboring and sheltering, transporting illegals. And they've been harboring, transporting them into our communities, the freedmen communities, making sure they receive our land, setting them up. Where's Mark King Carter where he can talk about offices of New Americans? I need to get him back here on this show so he can, you can have that piece of the puzzle. And he was waking it up 6 years ago. And Mark King Carter is an activist, advocate of the freedmen. He's also a business owner. He also, when you heard about them being able to come over here and receive humanitarian parole, our brother Mark King Carter was imprisoned, incarcerated. He has now changed his life around, and he is letting us know, attempting to help us wake it up. Because regardless, he served his time, came out, has been serving his community, and he's still been stereotyped and stigmatized. Whereas you had a federal government allowing criminals from another country to come into America and receive benefits, give them a job, and then make sure that they had housing and money, even if it was benefits from Social Security, all kinds of stuff. So we cannot overlook this and act like this is no big deal. We have our own Black American Negro men, freedmen men that serve time. They put in jail for drugs, whatever. And they come out, serve their time, they come out, they don't get any slack. Oh, people want to talk about them because they were a convicted felon and they don't want to give them a job. They don't want to give them housing. But a Venezuelan gang member that is killed people over in Venezuela can come to America and have the American dream? Come on, y'all. What's going on here? We got to acknowledge that we can't allow this to continue to happen. And those that have broken the law, even if they're politicians, need to be prosecuted. They need to be prosecuted. We should not have any mercy, any empathy, any sympathy, because this is what they chose. They were very cognizant of their decisions. This is what they wanted for themselves. But they didn't think the American people were going to hold them accountable, let alone the freedmen. Right? Okay, you all. I know early this morning, I saw all of these House security where they were interviewing them for the fraud in Minnesota. And now I'm looking on my timeline and I'm like, where are they? Oh, just found it. Yes. Congressman Brandon Gill. Okay, we're going to share this because he's on it. I like people like this now. That's why I'm saying Trump administration and OG. And I like when we get down to the nitty gritty of things and we face the truth, the reality of these situations instead of sugarcoating it, denying it, rationalizing it as if it's normal. No, we can't normalize this type of behavior. And we as the freemen got to stand in it. We got to stand on it right now. Stand up. We got to stand up and stand in it and say, no, we're not tolerating this. And we need to make sure we get our wealth, you all. Come on, this is our money, this our resources.
I would say the credible reports on child care fraud started.
Okay, let me go back. As you can see,
2013.
Oh, here we go. This is good. Okay.
We concretely knew that widespread welfare fraud was
2009. Reports on child care fraud started surfacing.
Yes, sir.
When do you think Governor Walz knew about this problem?
It's buffering, y'all. Hold it.
Running for governor in 2018. Prosecutions going on. They in the legislature that had hearings on it. And when they got into office, things changed. Reports since 2000. Healthcare fraud started surfacing.
Over a decade.
Yes, sir.
About this.
He was running for governor in 2018 when there were
Okay. So she explains that this was ongoing. Okay. She explains that this was ongoing and that the Waltz, Tim Waltz was very much aware of the fraud. Oh, okay. So my dang internet, you all, forgive me, is buffering really slow. But anyway, she explains that Tim Waltz was very much aware of the fraud and that it's been ongoing since 2009 with the Somalians. Ooh. Anyway, this does make me upset. I don't know about y'all, but this makes me very upset. Let me share this one. Um, Let me see if this is the one where he drills the other gentleman with the questioning, and he doesn't want to answer. He wants to say that the Somalians. Oh yes, here it is. I found it. Okay, so this again is Representative Brandon Gill. He's of Minnesota, and he is asking them. No, excuse me. He's of Texas. I said Minnesota. He's asking the officials of Minnesota and some of the other individuals that have been investigating the fraud in Minnesota, and they're coming forth. And then they also have whistleblowers to reinforce what they have learned in their investigations. So here he does drill this particular individual, and he doesn't want to answer the questions, but wants to go around the questions and include the Somalians as if they were native and been here in America. Y'all, it is too funny because I'm like, Somalians aren't native to America. I don't care. They may be born on the soil, but there's no natives by the name of Somalians in America. They just got here 30 years ago, right? They just got here. So I just can't accept, and this may be my biases, that Somalians are native to America. When you say native to America, just born here, you're not native to this country. You're Somalian. You have another whole culture. Not a founding population. You don't have history here. But they got history of fraud, and they go. Okay. Anyway, let's listen to this, and I'm gonna have to get out of here, y'all.
To be clear,
It's 7%. Somali.
I like the political game. Oh my goodness. Y'all, did y'all hear that? He dropped it down. He said, okay, you don't want to acknowledge that they're not natives. How many of them speak English? Because if they native to America, you speaking English. Am I correct or am I wrong? I have to put that out there. Let's see if we can find 2 more clips. I want to show y'all this facility and that okay. The Democrats have gone rogue, and the Trump administration, they the OGs that gonna handle it. And I like it. I am enjoying this because you know what? You got a lot of immigrants out here that talk crazy to us in America, us freedmen. They are talking crazy to us. Let me see if I can find this old clip of Nancy Pelosi. Let's see if we can find it. I want to show you all this one and the one of Chuck Schumer on immigration back in the day. Let's see. It was floating around. Oh boy, here we go. And I'm going to close out with this, y'all. I'm going to have to close out. Hold on. We're going to get this and we're going to show this, and then I'm going to get ready to close out because I got to go, and it's almost we're at our 2-hour mark, and I know people's attention span. I've heard people say don't go over 2 hours or do an hour and a half, and I'm trying to keep it there, but there's a lot of information this time that is so much going on. But let's see what Chuck Schumer, they done mixed it up for us already, y'all. They got it, they own it, and I want you all to hear what they had to say back in the day about illegal immigration. So how did you change? And you know the laws. I know Chuck Schumer, isn't he an attorney?
When we use and
Well. Okay. All right. Y'all heard it from the horse's mouth. And now he's like, oh no, we can make sure these people stay here, give them citizenship. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to find Nancy Pelosi. To grant any of these illegal aliens amnesty so they can have citizenship, we should make sure that we speak out about it and we let them know. You talk about amnesty for them, Americans first, you got to do reparations for us. Come on now. Come on. You going to grant them some amnesty? Uh-oh, here we go. Here's the clip with Nancy Pelosi. We're gonna listen to what she has to say, and then we're going to go back to Nancy Pelosi, hear what she has to say about making the illegal immigrants, aliens, giving them amnesty. Okay, here we go.
Borders. lines of defense to yet who are
Y'all heard it. That's Nancy Pelosi, 2005. Thank you, Mays, for posting that. Now, let's go on up here where she's sitting up here talking with Bill Maher and listen to what she has to say. Now, this was recent, October the 15th, 2025. Let's listen what Nancy Pelosi has to say now about illegal immigrants and aliens in America. We're going to get ready to close out. Okay, so you heard her say she wants to make sure that they're documented, meaning that sounds like amnesty, right? She want to make them citizens of America and grant them citizenship. Let's see what she's. I think this was another one, and it was a better video here. But I'm gonna stop sharing. You heard it. I'm gonna leave it at that. You heard it from the horse's mouth. They both switched it up. Chuck Schumer switched it up. Nancy Pelosi switched it up. They were major, and Chuck Schumer is still there in Congress, but Nancy Pelosi decided to remove herself. She decided to retire. However, you heard it before she retired. She wants to make all of these undocumented immigrants, illegal aliens that came in here across the border committing crimes. She want to grant them citizenship, which is called amnesty. That's what Ronald Reagan did in the 80s for like 3 million Mexicans. We can't keep doing this. No. And then they coming over here talking crazy to us, and they haven't done a thing for America. They don't have any inventions. They didn't work to build this country. They didn't help develop it, and they sure enough haven't helped advance it and make it a world superpower and a first world nation. But they coming over here talking about, we're not waiting. We're not waiting. Nothing here is yours. So you should be waiting, and you shouldn't be coming in on top of the freedmen, the Americans that are patriots of this country, have all kinds of innovations, and have fought every war for our nation. When I hear these people talk crazy to us, and then the Democrats giving them the space because they are abusers, I get hyped. So I'm all the way down with Trump being the OG in his administration, you all. So with that, I'm gonna have to get up out of here because this political game banging is for real. It's not playtime. It's serious. So with that, you all, I'm gonna sign off and thank you for joining me. I have a lot of you joining me. I really appreciate it. Please, 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 please share the Freedman channel. Sign the petition. I'll make sure I go out and list some of these videos that we played along with the petition on the Freedman channel. And with that, love, peace, happiness, and reparations.